Hey, Awaken Groups. We're week 10 now with groups, and I hope you guys have gotten a lot out of it so far. As we're going through this Naked series, the couple obviously is growing in their intimacy with each other. And, in a similar way, I hope you guys are learning a lot in your relationships with one another. You're learning to trust each other. You're learning to be honest with each other. If we're ever going to move forward as a church and as groups, we have to be able to discuss and be real with each other. And so I just want to encourage you guys to keep going and really take advantage of the relationships that you have right there in your group. This week got a little steamy again in Song of Solomon chapter 6 and 7. We were talking just about the work that it takes to make love work and continuing on in marriage and what that looks like. And, there are a lot of universal principles that apply. Things like choosing reconciliation over retaliation. So whether or not you're married, that applies to you. There are lots of people in your life that you will have tension and distance with. And we need to always choose reconciliation over retaliation. You can't always control it. That's the trick. You can only take care of you. And so maybe spend some time talking in your group about what it looks like married couples, maybe even recall some times where there's been some distance or some tension and how you've reconciled. Share with the other people in your group some tips on that and some things you've learned. Single, dating, engaged, whatever your relationship might be, talk through what reconciliation looks like in your life and some ways that you can get better at that. We also talked about God turning mourning into dancing. And so I really believe that was a specific word for somebody who was here today. Maybe it was you, one of you that's watching, but I hope that you were encouraged. And maybe you could spend some time in your group today talking about some hope that you have for a hurting relationship that you're in. The end of the message, chapter 7, was about the purpose of sex. They were obviously they were enjoying the scene that they were in. And so, especially for the married couples, I just want to remind you the importance of sex within your marriage. We talked about the thermometer versus the thermostat. And I think it would be good, married couples by themselves, to talk about what does that look like within our marriage and how healthy is it based on that gauge of sexuality? Are there areas of tension that you can work through together? And then look at it like a thermostat. There might be able to be some health that's breathed into your marriage by simply connecting and being intimate more regularly. Whatever that might look like, spend some time, married couples, by yourselves talking about that on your own time. But, I'm thankful that we get to talk through stuff like this, and I'm thankful for so many of you who encourage me to keep going with topics like this. I know they're not always easy to sit through. Believe me, they're not always easy to talk about. But I'm thankful that you're in this with me. And I hope that we will always be a church and be a group of people that are ready to hear whatever God has to say about any issue in our lives, even when it's a little uncomfortable. I know God's honored by that. And so again, I just, as I always say, I'm praying for you guys this week. I hope your conversation's really great and that you are growing in your relationships with one another, in marriages, dating relationships, whatever friendships you have, keep them Jesus-centered, and remember that the gospel is at stake in our relationships. God bless you guys.